Okay, so we were into the JavaScript API. We can go to the API folder, JavaScript API folder. In API folder, then CMD. Right here, code space dot. Your VS Code will open. Okay, so we have just started and we have not completed that function. So the discussion was JavaScript is a front-end language, is a client-side processing language. Number one, it collects the data from user via HTML, do the process. After that, again, it submit to the backend. Another way you think, then data will come from the backend to JavaScript. Again, JavaScript will do the process, generate the output in the form of HTML and give to browser. Then it appear as output. So here JavaScript, you have a function called page function. Page function is going to work mediator between your user HTML as well as the backend. The page function will send a request to backend, and after sending the request to backend, from the backend, whichever the response will come, we are testing on the HTML file as of now. First 2-3 file will be HTML, then we'll link with the live API from the server, then it will work properly. The page function need a URL where it has to send the data or where it has to receive the data. The backend URL. So for testing purpose, we are written as a HTML file. Now from this page function, once the request will go to the HTML file, from the HTML file, it is going to locate in current folder since we have not given any other folder name, file name, any slash, so it will search in current folder only. In current folder, it will check whether HTML file is exist or not, home.html. If home.html is exist, then the home.html will respond something. As soon as the request will go to home.html, home.html will respond something. Response will come from the home.html to again the JavaScript function. But since the request was sent by page function cannot capture the response again. So page function will apply another function that is called then. Now, so as soon as I wrote the then here, it is saying as a method. Then is a function. What type of function? Just after that, you can see it's saying is a promise. And under the promise, you can see there is a variable called response. So you can say when the request will go from the page function to any other URL, from there, whichever the response will come, your page function is not going to capture on the behalf of page function. There will be another function that is called then function. So then what is doing? It's saying like then is a promise function. It is going to capture the response. It's responsible for only with this purpose only. What is the purpose? It used to capture the response. The function name is called then. It's going to come as a promise function. Then in case if anyone asks what is the promise function, as per you can see here, when I type it is saying then is a promise function. What is the job and responsibility of the promise function? The jobs and responsibility of the promise function is it is going to capture the response that come from the backend. So inside this, I will use a variable, any variable we can write call file response, file response. The response of the file is going to come, the home.html file, whichever the content will come, it will come and capture under the file response variable using the then promise function. Now after that, this then function will say like, yes, I have captured the response, but since the communication was happening between client to server, so that your data will be encrypted. Whichever the response is captured by then function, it will not be your final. Okay, it will not be your final data. So again, there is a two function. One is called JSON function and another one is called text function. One is called JSON, another one is called text. Like suppose if the backend is going to return you a JSON, you have to use the JSON here. In case the backend is going to send you a response as a text, you have to use the text here. So at this place, what I will do, file response using the fat arrow method, we will convert the response into text using a response, not response, using the variable name that is called file response. The variable name what we have written, file response dot text. So that become your actual content. Text you can use to parse the text data also, and combination of HTML text and text both. Since the home.html, it's saying like I will be returning the content in the text and JSON, text and HTML format. So the conversion part after capturing the response, the response should get converted into the not JSON, because source has not given you the JSON data, source has given you the text data. Coming down, next, the using then function, you capture the data, you convert it into the original text and HTML. Now again we have to apply then function to talk to the browser, to give to the browser. Okay, so again we can write first then function will receive and convert, but it will not send you to the HTML, plus there you cannot write any kind of loop, you cannot write any kind of inner HTML. So again we need to apply the then function here. Then function for what purpose? To capture the original data, original file data. These all are the variable, can be anything. Original file data. Again, original file data. We can come down below and we can alert here, and we can see whether really it is coming or not. Original file data. Original file data. Saved it. Now we will create a file here, home.html, and after creating the home.html, we will run the index through the live server, and then we'll check our data is getting processed or not. Fetch function is able to read the content of home.html, convert into text using the then function, and using the second then function, is it returning the data in the form of original text HTML or not. Since the source is going to give you the HTML, so we have to use here text function. If the source will give as a JSON, we have to use here as a JSON. Dynamic URL like PHP URL, Java URL, backend URL will give you mostly as a JSON only. You have to use that. For that, we have written so many button here. We will be implementing on that. Right? Hope we have written. Now create another file, home.html here. In the same folder, here you can create a next file, home.html. In home.html, we'll not start from home, we'll start from the h1, saying as a welcome home. After that, welcome home, we can come down and we can use the p tag here, and under the paragraph tag, we can use some text abcd, anything you can write just for the testing purpose. One more paragraph I will add here. Okay, hope your home file is ready. Next, after that, we'll come to the index file. And since it is the communication between client to server, so you cannot run directly, it will give an error of cross origin. Okay, it will give an error of cross origin. You have to run through the live server that we installed yesterday. Now I will go here and we'll do the right click and then we'll open with the live server. We'll do the right click and we will open with the live server. Right click and open with live server. Open with the live server. Do the right click, open with the live server. Your page will open directly in the browser. Any default browser will get open. I have to write manually in some respective browser. I will go here, localhost 5500 index.html. Okay, so this is the content. This is the buttons we have. So this appear here. Now I'll write on home and it should give something. Button click what I have called. Function 1 I have called. Home response. Text original data. Okay. What is the error? Home.html is here only. Oh, function 1 I have written 2 times here. Function 2 I should write here. Function 1 I have written 2 times. If you have made the similar mistake, please change the function name. Okay, next after that, when I click on home, you can see all the content of home file is coming here. right? So H1 start paragraph, paragraph to paragraph. All the content of home file is coming here directly. Home file. Okay, next after that this alert has come. Now instead of alert, this original file data which come from the home file, we have to send to this container. We have to send to this container. So for that we can go here and we can write here document dot get element by id, get element by id. Which id is that? The id is called a container. Under the container dot inner html we have to send, because original file data variable is holding the content in html and text format. So that what will happen now, you will be able to see, the content of your home file under the container. The content of the home file will come under the container. So add this line, document.getElement by id inner html equal to original file data.